Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning back in. Today I want to change topics a little bit from tips and tricks in terms of fishing to the boat world. And one of the most frequent questions that I get from potential boat buyers is, what do you recommend to put on your boat? You know, at this point, guys, there are so many options to choose from electronics to, hot foots to jack plates to trolling motors. There are so many different options that, yes, we want everything, but what are the true necessities of a boat? And when people come to me and ask me that, I've got two things that I think are potentially the most important additions that you can put on your boat. And they're two of the more cost-effective when you break everything down to total price. You know, obviously, in terms of finding fish, electronics are key. Like, my Lowrance graphs are my eyes underwater and they help me find fish, but I'm talking about boat performance at this point. So the two things that I do not think you want to skimp on have to do with your power in your boat. So we're talking batteries and motor performance that will allow you to get the best potential performance out of your motor, and that comes down to a jack plate. So the first thing, like I mentioned before, has to do with the power. If your boat is underpowered, you're gonna have issues on the water routinely. And not only just in terms of powering your graphs or powering all the different objects or things that you've got on your boat, but almost from a safety standpoint. You know, the reason I thought about doing this video was because on a recent trip out on the Great Lakes, I ran into people that needed a tow back in. And they were in a good boat, a nice big brand new, probably a 2-year-old, I'm gonna guess an 18 to 20 foot Alumacraft, just a really nice boat. They were stranded though because they had no battery power. They had drained the power on their motor, on their starting battery, and they were on their trolling motors, the entire trolling motor, the entire time they were out, and they had drained their trolling motor batteries. So they had no way to jump their starting battery from their trolling motor battery and get the big engine going, so they couldn't get back to safety. So they were 3 or 4 miles offshore, just floating in the wind, and they flagged me down. And you know, when you're on the Great Lakes, guys, you never know if you're gonna run into somebody on the water. It's such a big body of water, and it worked out where I was able to help them and tow them back to shore. But it just frustrates me when people are going out on bodies of water like the Great Lakes with objects in their boat that aren't performing at top caliber. So the first thing I want to talk about has to do with battery life. Okay, guys? And I know you hear me talk about my Battleborn batteries, but those batteries have been such game changers for me over the last several years. You know, I've been running them. I think this is I'm gonna say my 3rd full year. And before them, I always had issues. And it was always concerning to me when I had a bunch of battery for my trolling motor. And I needed to make sure that that was enough, not only for my trolling motor, but for my big engine if I had issues where I could jump it and get over. And, you know, to this day, I have never had failure of the batteries, and I've never had an issue where I was even remotely close to draining the power on my trolling motor batteries, and that's with several days without charging. So I know I've always got power to get me back safely if I need to jump my starting battery. So do not skimp on your trolling motor batteries. You can ruin your fishing outings in so many ways if you have bad batteries. You know, you get out, you don't get to fish if your batteries go dead. You know, it could ruin a whole trip. The older lead acid batteries take longer to charge. So, I mean, you really can ruin an entire day's worth of fishing if you have bad batteries. But more importantly, from a safety standpoint, you might not be able to get back to the dock if your trolling motor batteries are dead and your, starting motor is dead. The next thing has to do with a jack plate. So I'm running the TH Marine Atlas hydraulic jack plate. And in this case, it's just this box that fits on you know, it connects the motor to the transom of the boat, and that will allow me to raise the entire motor. So you can see it going up. So I can raise this and lower that as needed. And if I want to lower it, that's fine. The key with that though is, and this goes really, really understated. Everyone always goes, yeah, it's great for running shallow water. It is phenomenal to have that, to run shallow water. You know, if you want to jump over a sandbar, you can run it and get over a sandbar based on that. That's a great feature of a hydraulic jack plate. The best feature though, in my opinion, is it allows me to maintain better control in rough water. So if I want to lower that all the way down and keep the motor in the water, I will maintain a significantly smoother and more controlled drive through rough water, which is going to get me back to the dock. It's going to take, you know, it's going to take or prevent my boat from getting more of a pounding on the water. It's just the ability to raise and lower throughout the day is such a good feature. You know, like the Mississippi River is a great example. I fish there all the time. It's full of sandbars. You raise it up to run over that. Half the time though, if you get out on the main channel and the wind's blowing, you've got 3-footers on the channel, so I can lower it down to run through the channel. I mean, it's one of those things, it's a great feature to have. And it's, compared to other things you put on your boat, relatively inexpensive. You know, you can get a jack plate for $1,400, $1,500, and it's gonna save you so much money in the long run, because you're not gonna break lower units, you're not gonna bang up props, you're just gonna get better performance out of your motor. And if you're a top end speed guy, you can tinker with it when you're running wide open to try to eke out that extra mile an hour. So it's just one of those things I would definitely run on my boat. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, early on I was like, why do I need that? Why is it worth the money to put a hydraulic jack plate on the boat? At this point, it would be one of the first things I would make sure that my new boat had, or whatever boat I got, just because it improves performance and it's gonna save me money in the long run. So guys, don't skimp on a hydraulic jack plate, don't skip on your batteries. Those are the two things you better make sure your boat that you have on your boat that's in tip-top shape, and you won't regret it once you have it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. I know a lot of people are out there looking for boats right now. The boat market's pretty hot to get into, so if you're comparing boats against each other, make sure it's got some good Battle-Born batteries and a good TH Marine Atlas jack plate. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, new tips and tricks every day.